As you make your way up the dark street, the moon high in the sky, the stars blinking in and out of the darkness like pinpoints of light, we move up the street towards the stable that you walk towards. It's quiet. Many people are in their homes sleeping at this point, but up on the hill, the manor is still in chaos. Boughton men rush to and fro, keeping eye on the walls, guarding the remaining Boughton family. And as you make your way up the street, you would just be struck by the stillness, the quietness surrounding such a chaotic event. At the moment, it feels that the storm has passed for now, but two of the Boughtons are dead, and everybody's in a panic. As you make your way up the street, you see the stable. You see that there's a single light in the office attached to it. In that moment, somebody walks past it, their shadow against the drapes. Somebody's still awake there.
Y'all reckon we should knock?
Well, that would be the polite thing to do.
Yeah, we got to end this thing eventually.
All right. Make sure you guys have my back, though, if something happens. I don't like this. I'd approach and go and knock at the front door.
And just beyond, within the small house, you'd hear a sigh of frustration, and footsteps would approach the door quickly. Somebody muttering curses under their breath. And the door would open, revealing a middle-aged man. His hair is pretty much balding backwards across his head. He has shrewd eyes and a long beard that stretches down across his chest. He's in his night clothes, and he would look at you with tired, bloodshot eyes. This man is Garrett Whiting. He's the owner of Whiting's Horse and Horseshoes. Deputy.
Evening, Mr. Whiting. Sorry to disturb you on this late evening night.
I'm not. He kind of is confused. He doesn't know what to say. He's kind of stuttering for words. Can I help you with something?
We are looking for an individual. Might kind of stand out if you've seen him around here. Green eyes. And he had sorry, Ty, out of game, he had a weird metallic tattoo, right?
Yeah, it was like a star on the back of his neck, basically.
Yeah, a star tattoo on the back of his neck that almost looked metallic.
He kind of like starts to like shuffle nervously. Yeah, he just came in maybe an hour or two ago, took his horse, left. I mean, that's why I'm awake right now. I swear, if he's done something, I don't know who he is.
We ain't saying he done anything yet. We're just looking for some details on him. He didn't happen to leave a name or anything, did he?
1 second. Let me go get the ledgers. And he'd kind of he'd walk back into the shop, into this house/shop, and pick up like it looks like an old like a hotel registry type thing, but like it's got like names like scrawled in it with like amounts paid and how much they owe, etc. And he'd kind of carry it back. He didn't leave a first name. Just Rui. He called himself Mr. Rui.
Rui?
Or Rowie or something like that.
Rui. And this Mr. Rui say where he was going or anything? what he was up to? You have any small talk with him?
I mean, I tried. He was a real quiet fellow. Wouldn't tell me much. Very strange, though. And he kind of like pauses for a second. Go ahead and roll me insight.
All right. I rolled a 15. 14.
Yeah, so
sorry.
so he pauses. Not necessarily that he's withholding information, but maybe that like he doesn't know if you'll believe what he tells you.
Listen, Garrett. I don't want you to be nervous or anything. You haven't done anything wrong by my eyes. Can tell you're holding something back, and trust me, I've had one hell of a couple days here. There ain't nothing that you're going to say that's going to be too weird for me to take in. Can assure you of that.
And you kind of like shuffle there for a second, kind of weighing what you just said. But that is the strangest thing. I could have. When he came, he was standing in the door, pitch black. I couldn't see anything around him, just standing there. And in that moment, the clouds open up, and moonlight comes down on him right as he was paying me, right? And I saw his hand, but it was I could see the bone. It was like his skin was translucent.
Hmm.
Now, I mean, I've been hitting the moonshine. I swear, I know, Deputy. I know I have. But like, I know what my eyes seen.
All right. Well, appreciate your time. And I'm going to basically try to make it look, unfortunately, like I don't believe him. But at the same time, I'm going to look back to Hiram and just give like a questioning look and seeing if there's any look of realization on his face, because he seems to be the expert on this thing.
Hiram gives no real indication that he knows, but you can tell he's taking note.
All right. Well, Mr. Whiting, anything else that you could help me with by maybe tracking this Mr. Rui down or anything? Any detail? I just would really like to talk to this man.
Maybe he left something in his stall. He was keeping his horse, and I can give you the key. You can go check.
That would be of great assistance. I would appreciate that very much.
Yeah, he would go back into the room. You'd see him hear the jingle of keys. He'd be muttering to himself as he's kind of flipping through them, and he'd come back with the key. You see it has a number like 10 basically like engraved into it, and you kind of put it in your hand. I'm always willing to help the law, Deputy. If you need anything else, let me know. Let me know.
All right. You have yourself a great night.
One other thing. I watched him go. I don't know if this helps at all, but he went south towards the quarries.
Towards the quarries. All right. You have been of great assistance. We will just take a quick peek in the stables. We'll be sure not to disturb any of the animals or any situations you got back there. But again, we'll drop the keys off by the door, maybe in the mailbox, if there's such a thing, and we'll be on our way.
He would just kind of nod and step back into his house, wait for you guys to head off, and then close the door. Hiram, roll me an intelligence check at this info that you've recently received.
Okay. It's a 19.
The name Rui stands out to you. The last name Rui. You can't. I mean, and as you kind of sit there thinking about it, trying to like figure out like where you know a Rui from, you're kind of going through all these different pieces of information in your head. Left-handed, duelist, green eyes. You remember a school teacher who you killed a long time ago. Why did you kill this person?
School teacher. Can't remember his name now. He Well, it was more like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or at least his student was. It's in the middle of a duel, midday. Sun's beating down. I catch a reflection off of my opponent's weapon. I'm thrown off. I pull my draw anyways, and I take my shot because I know there's only one chance. By the time smoke clears, my bullet had found a home, but it wasn't inside my opponent. It was a school teacher. Went to go push a child out of the way of two grown folks dueling. School teacher was the only one to die that day. Two of us kind of went our separate ways, and I hadn't seen that duelist since.
Yeah, so you're kind of pondering on all of this, remembering this person, remembering that like another ghost came back to haunt you a day or two ago, and you remember the way that he looked at you when he shot you down and then fled. Not so much hatred as there was a pitying reluctance in his eyes as he gunned you down. So I'm guessing at this point you guys are arriving at the stable then. Okay. Yeah, so as you guys are stepping into the stable, you could easily find the correct stall that was being kept. It's all locked up now, having been mucked out and the horse gone. But it's locked, so you can go ahead and open and go in.
All right, we do so.
As you turn the key in the lock, everybody roll me a dex save.
Oh, god damn.
I get a 17.
I got a 23.
Definitely failed.
Okay. So 17 and 23 both pass. So Wesley and Hiram, how do you manage to avoid the explosion?
I think Wes avoided it mostly because he was just so far back behind everyone else. I think he was a bit too caught up in just like the scenes and noises and sounds and sights around him, oblivious to where he was headed. And then thankfully in that absent-mindedness, he was able to avoid the majority of the blast just through sheer distance alone.
As for Hiram, he's not in any shape to really get out of the way. I think what ended up saving him was Lance heard the click, and Lance just kind of shouldered his weight to try and get out of the way himself, and Hiram happened to be in the way. So Lance ended up absorbing it on his way to try and get out the door.
Lance, the explosion carries you off your feet. Bits of wood and filthy straw and whatever else was in the stall just goes flying everywhere. You're thrown back 10 feet against the wall, slamming against it. You'll take 10 points of damage, Lance. Anyone who succeeded is going to take 5. A piece of the stall, one of these wooden posts that kind of makes the gate, embeds itself in your shoulder, Lance, actually pinning you against the wall. Blood trickling down it and down your duster onto the floor.
scream out in pain, "Son of a bitch!" and then start cursing. Is the wood so big that it's kind of like impaled me to the ground, weighing me down?
No, it's just like in your shoulder.
All right, I'll grab onto it and pull it out, I guess.
Yeah, you're like disoriented by the sound. You got that sound in your ears as you're kind of like trying to like recalibrate yourself, just like dizzy, head spinning. You hear the screams of horses all around you and frightened animals. And then smoke is just filling your lungs.
Yell out for Wesley, Hiram.
Yes, Mr. Sheriff, sir.
You guys good?
Peachy keen. Are you all right, Mr. Deputy, sir? I can't hear well.
No, not at all, but we got to get the horses out.
Yeah, the stitches that Hiram had from the doctor have ripped open, and you can see blood blossoming on his shirt. Hiram's okay, but he's definitely worse for wear.
Yeah, so you see the fire also is kind of like set the hay inside of this stall on fire. So now the pungent aroma of like leftover dung is burning and spilling your knot. You're making your eyes water. Yeah, so you guys gonna, I'm assuming you guys either you're gonna get the animals out or put out the fire. What are you doing?
Animals out.
Yep.
Yep, definitely animals out.
Yeah, so you could throw open their gates. There'd be like a corral that they kind of run past you towards. They'd be running around inside this little area, kind of where he probably would show the horses off to people, let them try and ride them. You can slam the gate shut afterwards. The fire's kind of picking up a little bit. It's moved over a stall or two, and is spreading through the building. You'd see the door that connects the stall and the stable and the house would open, and out the door Garrett would come running, and he'd be kind of like looking around, wild-eyed, trying to figure out what happened. He'd see you on like letting the horses into the corral. He'd go over to the trough and start filling up buckets and just throwing them just as quickly as he can at the fire. He's not really doing anything because he's not like aiming. Like he's just throwing it at the fire, hoping it'll help.
If
you
I
hear
could,
shouts as other people come running too.
If I could, and it's like, I don't know, if the fire's not quite bad enough yet, could I run back in and see if I can see what caused the explosion?
Yeah, you could duck into the fire and like try and like look around inside of the stall. Make me like a dexterity, maybe like an acrobatics check or something like that to try and dodge the flames.
All right, pretty good at that. Gonna look at a 17, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
No,
so you're only gonna take
19.
Okay, so you're only going to take 2 points of damage instead of 4. As you avoid the worst of it, you're going to get a couple burns up your legs, though, and on your hands, your exposed hands. But as you kind of duck into the stall, you'd see that there's like essentially when you turn the lock, like to open up the door, essentially to move this bar, there was like some sort of wire attached to it, and right on the back of this door is like. It looks like a bunch like a small metal capsule thing that's smoking. You see that it's exploded outwards. There's like metal shards all over the place, and that whatever you did, kind of like it was like there's black powder or something inside of it that blew a hole in this door, blew it off its hinges essentially.
I see anything else of note, or I'm imagining most of whatever was in this stall has been destroyed.
Roll me a perception check as you're looking through the smoke and coughing.
Perception or investigation?
Either or.
Okay. Also really good. 22.
Yeah, as you kind of step in, you're coughing, you're like waving like the smoke away from your face, pulling your duster up over your mouth. Through the smoke, you'd see something shiny, kind of like in the corner, just like lying there on the ground.
Reach for it if I could.
Yeah, you could just grab it with like a handful of like straw before exiting the stall and running.
Yeah, run back out.
Yeah, it's a claymore. Yeah, so you step out of the flames, the smoke kind of blurring your eyes, filling your lungs. You run back out. What are the other two of you doing?
Wes is like grabbing the reins of animals and pulling them out and taking them far away to some post, some fence post, and tying them up and running back and shepherding these animals to safety.
Okay, roll me animal handling. See
Sweet.
how successful you are at doing this.
14.
You do a pretty good job. You're able to calm the animals for the most part, get them to like at least just like stay in one place and not all pull on the post where you tie them up. And you're going to be able to get all of the horses out. So at least Garrett doesn't lose his livelihood. And what about you, Hiram?
Looking at my hit points, I think Hiram just stays outside and leans on a post. He's like clutching at the wound that's reopened up. Kind of just, I know mechanically there's not really like a bleed out rule, but I think what he's doing is trying to stop the bleeding out, like narratively.
Yeah, I can imagine you standing back there like ripping up clothing and like stuffing it on the wound, trying to staunch the bleeding in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're breathing pretty heavily. I imagine, like you said, your stitches are torn open from the shock of this explosion and from Lance running into you. You're just an observer for now as people come running up the streets to try and help. You see they start like a bucket line to try and like deal with this fire. And I'm just going to go ahead and roll a couple rolls to see how well they do.
I'd assist them if it matters.
Yeah, I'll give him one roll assisted. Okay. So they managed to like save like maybe 3/4 of the stable. So like only a quarter of it burns out. The one stall that exploded, and then like 3 or 4 other ones. You managed to get all the horses out. You managed to stop the rest of the stable from burning as this bucket line does its work.
Kind of go over to Hiram and Wesley as things are starting to settle down, and just like, I swear, everywhere we go, things just always exploding and burning. Gonna be asking the sheriff for a raise soon. Good job there, Wes, getting the animals out. Hiram, you all right? You look like you're bleeding pretty bad.
Yeah. Doc said to take it easy. Guess I should have listened. And he like wrenches down on some bandage, like makeshift bandages that he's tying across from like his shoulder to like his ribs.
Was someone trying to kill us, Mr. Sheriff, sir?
Well, they were definitely trying to kill someone. Managed to get back in there. I don't know too many people that accidentally rig a explosive on the back of a door.
I don't know much about them explosives besides the booms that go down in the quarry. This ain't no quarry.
You got that right, son.
Didn't Mr. Horseman talk about something about a quarry?
Sure did.
Yeah, I think that's where we're next head.
I found this though, and I pull out my handful of hay, and hopefully have something shiny and meaningful in it.
Yeah, so as you kind of like open up your hand, flicking away the bits of hay, and to your disgust, a bit of like horse dung too, you would find kind of resting in the palm of your hand a very, it's like, so as you kind of like look at it, like you're turning over your hand trying to see what it is, you kind of have to shake it a bit, and then like a little bit of like gunk and stuff kind of comes out of it, and you see that it's like a little, like a star steel something. It's like you have to clean it off even more to get like the look at it a little bit better. But it looks like a bunch of like little mini figurines stacked on top of each other. You can go. Somebody roll me traditions.
Is that wisdom based?
That's intelligence based.
Oh, all right. $16.
Yeah. So like as you're looking at this, it looks like a totem of some kind. Something that like is very, like the So are very superstitious. You know that this is star steel too as you're looking at it. And it comes to your mind like I don't know where you heard. You tell me where you heard it. But you remember like a story that like every single soul is given one of these totems when they come of age. It's like a sign of like their membership, basically, among the soul.
Yeah, I imagine that Sophia O'Connor, Lance's deceased mother, would probably often talk about the traditions of the Sow.
Yeah, so you know whoever's it belongs to must have been in quite a hurry to have accidentally left it behind, or they must not have cared as much about it as like they should have.
All right. Well, gentlemen, should we make our way to the quarry? Need to take a moment to rest up or anything? I got plunged really bad with one of those splinters of wood, but if you guys are feeling all right, sure I can carry on too.
I think I'm about as good as I'm gonna get.
All right. Well, Wesley, how about you, being the youthful spirit that you are? Want to lead this?
Okay. And kill a little sound. That way, Mr. Sheriff, sir. And he heads out that way. Don't fall too far behind.
I'll do my best.
So you guys walking out to the quarry? That's quite a walk.
Oh, is it?
Wait, you said to lead the way, Mr. Sheriff, sir. And it's that way.
Well, I'm sure we could pick up some horses at the sheriff's office.
We got some horses back there.
That's
Well,
true.
they're not our horses, but
I don't know how I feel about asking Mr. Whiting if we can borrow his horses after we just exploded half of his stables.
we also saved his horses.
And he'll need to do something with the horses in the meantime.
All right.
I see them negging on that post, and who knows how long it'll last. 3 horses off, and it'll be less of a danger.
Fair enough. Well, Wesley, how about you go ask him?
Okay. And Wes will just, as innocent as the day he was born, will just walk up to the home of this stable keep, and just knock on the door just as blazingly as possible.
The door would open, and Garrett is like drunker than drunk now. I mean, he's like the you see the stress of the moment is built up on him. He's got a very obvious jar of illicit moonshine hanging out of one of his hands, and his eyes are just bloodshot, just like they're drooping. He can barely keep his eyes open, and you can just smell it on him. It's like a perfume.
Mr. Stablekeep person, sir. We did round up all your horses, and all of them are safe. None of them got any hurting at all. We were wondering because they're kind of restless out there, and I figure you don't have much of a stable no more. We could take down some of them horses, the ones that are kind of itching to run away and stuff, and take them on our merry way, and we'll give them back right shortly soon. We'll just keep them occupied, keep them on their toes, so that they don't get too restless.
Roll me persuasion.
Oh God.
At advantage.
Okay, thank you. Oh, the Dice Lord saved me today. 17.
He would look at you, kind of like let loose this nasty foul burp, and promptly drop his moonshine out of his hand, and he looked down at it as it's pouring across the doorway, across the threshold of his home. And you can't tell if it's a nod or a shake of the head, but you're going to interpret it how you want to as he passes out on the ground.
Well, if he didn't want us to, he would have said something. Yeah, have a good night, Mr. Stablekeep, sir.
As just another belch is what follows you out.
Pretty sure at least one of the crimes on my rap sheet has the same reasoning behind it.
And he'll just close the door, let Mr. Stablekeep sleep on the floor, and head back and say that we're free to take his horses.
Nice job. Head on over to the horses. Saddle up.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can take 3 horses and make your way towards the quarry. As guys are heading out, you kind of have to pass through the center of town to get onto the street to take you towards the quarry. You'd see the people kind of gathered outside the house, like they're all kind of walking back down the road, carrying their buckets, taking them back to wherever they got them. And you would see that up at the manor, things are still a bit hectic, but they've calmed down at least a little bit. The lights up there are still blazing. People are still moving about, but just not as much at a frantic pace. Things have calmed down a little bit. And as you make your way out of the city, we would see just the moon's kind of like we're fast forward, like the moon kind of slowly moves across the sky a little bit. It takes you guys about an hour and a half to get there. And upon arrival, you can see that none of the flood lamps or like the basically directed torches that they'd use to mine in the dark are out. There's nobody. There doesn't seem to be anybody here working. At least it's quiet.
It's a little unusual.
This is the manor, sorry, or the quarry?
The quarry.
All right, sorry, my bad. How long of a ride was it?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Would you say that it would be possible to spend a hit dice on a short rest while horseback riding?
A hit dice or a shit dice?
Shit dice, hit dice, whatever you want to call it.
I guess I would take a nice warm steaming shit dice.
You got stuck between short rest and hit dice right there. Yeah, you guys could take a short rest.
All right, I'll probably do so since that blast mucked me up real good.
I don't like the look of this place.
Me neither. It's awfully quiet. Does it make sense that it's quiet right now?
I mean, bad memories of my brother.
Yeah, sorry to bring you back here so soon.
Well,
hopefully we won't make any more bad memories here.
The quarry does tend to shut down most nights.
My mama has the moonshine to keep her memories away.
I reckon that doesn't keep them away for too long, Wes.
I don't know. Never had any of that stuff.
Keep it that way. You're a good kid.
Smells something awful.
Stick to that sarsaparilla.
I like sarsaparilla.
Lester would kind of just be looking between the two of you, like, what in the world? Because, I mean, if you recall, you also gave him permission to come along. So he's, like, looking at you two as you guys are, like, saying, like, just talking nonsense back and forth, basically. And he just, like, looks at you, Hiram, and he whispers, he leans across and whispers, like, is this what a manhunt is actually like?
Most of the time, it's kind of boring. I mean, of course, unless you're the other man.
And you kind of like look behind you as these two are like talking about like sarsaparilla and moonshine. And he looked back at you and just like shake his head. You could tell that he's a little confused.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And he'll kind of nod and like he digs in the spurs to kind of catch up with the others.
As you guys approach the quarry, go ahead and make me like a survival, nature, or perception check. Well, survival or perception. Let's go with that.
I'm rolling hot tonight. Natural 19 plus 21.
Plus 21.
Plus 21? Oh,
yeah, I'm real good.
And I got a 15 plus 16. Yeah, I got a 16.
Okay. So Wesley and Lance, then you would spot horse tracks, fresh horse tracks, 2 sets of them approaching the quarry.
We haven't been here before, have we?
To the quarry? We were just here the other day.
Well,
not today though.
those tracks there, they're much
Oh,
fresher than
yeah, they're looking pretty fresh.
not us, right?
I don't think so. On the account that they're ahead of us.
And then like Wes looks back and sees Hiram, and Lester's like, oh, no, they're back there. Okay.
Call Hiram up now that it's we're on to a fresh lead. Tell him to keep a close eye on Lester. Wouldn't want anything else happening to the Boughton family under my watch.
Yeah. And Hiram will kind of readjust his holster so that it's a little bit easier to reach while he's riding. You know, Lester, from here, you're going to have to rely on your own aim. We're all going to make sure that we get out of here one way or another. But a gun's a gun when it comes down to it. Are you ready for it?
He would like sit there for a second, like looking back at you, a frown on his face. He'd look down at the gun, kind of touch the metal, the cool metal, in the night, and then look back up at you and nod.
All right. Well, line up your holsters. Let's go. And he kind of prods the horse along again.
And I think what Hiram was trying to say by that is that we don't need you, Lester, making any rash decisions. The law's here to uphold the end of justice. So you stay back. Don't get yourself in any trouble. You don't want to end up like, well, you know.
Lester would just kind of nod. You see that he's a little bit scared of the idea of having to fire a gun, but I mean, he's determined to do so if he needs to.
Yeah, definitely not fond of that idea because he's like 13, right? Which I guess
Yeah,
is
he's like 13, yeah.
Equivalently time specific is probably like maybe a little more mature, but still don't want the 13-year-old blasting off shots unless it's needed. So I would tell him to not be quick to the draw. Questions first. We can apprehend the man, even better. But everyone ready. Even you and your gun, Wes.
I don't like using it. I don't want to hold it.
That's good. You shouldn't like using it.
Gives me them chills. Even when it's hot outside, it still gives me them chills.
So you guys are approaching the mouth of the quarry to enter, right?
If that's where the tracks lead?
Yep.
Yeah, they would lead towards the mouth of the quarry and then down into it. Roll me
Switching rounds to silver, by the way.
smart. Roll me perception checks, by the way.
Perception. Can I? Yeah, okay. Hold on. We'll roll. $15.
Okay, 2 15s. All right. So the first thing, one of you is going to notice one thing, one of you is going to notice another. The first thing you would notice as you're kind of like approaching the mouth of the quarry, you do have to get off your horses here because it's like stone, so the horses could like break its leg pretty easily if it fell. The first thing you notice is that Lance, there is like a putrid, just terrible smell. Just a rise, you've found dead bodies, rotting dead bodies that have been sitting out in the sun, are bloated and just reek. It smells even worse than that, and it's pungent. Like it soaks into your open mouth, if you keep your mouth open, it soaks into your. It almost seems to soak into your skin. It just reeks. Wesley, one thing you would notice is you hop down off your horse. You guys are tying him to the corral post right there. You see something weird. Like you look at there's like a big kind of leading down to the quarry. There's like a stone. But as you walk up to it, you see that there's like almost like when water falls on sand. There are like holes melted into this stone. And there's some sort of like a greenish liquid pooling at the bottom of them.
Mr. Sheriff, sir?
Yes, Wesley.
There's a strange rock over yonder. It's got green stuff.
Interesting deduction.
Pretty sure we're looking for more than just a rock.
I'm not, Miss Hiram, sir, not just any old rock. Or else, if you want me to point out any old rocks, I can point over there too. But no, this rock here is it's looks a little strange. It's got green stuff.
Hiram's just like looking all over the place, and then finally he just kind of gets agitated and looks over. Well, shit. I guess that is a weird rock.
Yeah, it's a weird rock. Don't call me Wes for nothing.
I see you loading the silver bullets, Hiram. I'm gonna ask if is that gonna make a difference in this situation?
Well, Stave Master said that his hand seemed to have disappeared. I figure it's better to be cautious.
You go in the extras.
6.
I'll buy them off you.
Well, we'll need more bullets either way. So, and he'll reach into like a separate pouch that's at his belt, and he'll fish out the 6 bullets and hand it to you individually.
All right, I'll make sure to load that and maybe go take a closer look at this green rock.
Yeah, that's where Hiram's headed as he hands you the bullets.
Yep, I'll let Hiram take it because I'm loading it in, or Wes, whoever wants to take it. I'm gonna load my gun.
Hiram has a character flaw where he has to go investigate this nonsense.
Yeah. Well, the rock isn't green so much as whatever this green substance is seems to have melted through it like it was butter.
Like I said, it's a weird rock with green stuff in it and on it. Strange.
So I have a background feature called They Are Real. And it allows me to either know stuff or know where to find answers to random supernatural stuffs. If it is applicable, I'd like to apply that and find out if I know stuff or know where to go find answers to stuff.
Okay. So to see if you know stuff, roll me a traditions check at advantage.
Okay. We said that that's a wisdom.
Intelligence.
Okay. That's a 14.
So you don't remember specifically what it is, but you do remember a legend, a story. And it's up to you where you heard the story from. But you remember that it's a story that that the tribes, that mothers tell their children. It's a story about a child who doesn't listen to its mother and goes out into the woods one night to try and find their spirit, to try and connect themselves to the spirits. And they wander and they travel all night, and they find themselves on the top of a large mountain. And while they're there, they smell something terrible, and something big comes moving up the mountain towards them. Big as a bear, some say bigger. And this child watches this creature, believing it's his spirit, until the creature standing just above them. And the child, being too foolish to run, disappears and is never seen again. You don't remember what the creature was called. You don't remember what the creature could do. But you remember that there was this old Cole legend about these creatures, like the boogeyman, essentially, for their children.
Well, I don't think this is related, but something we'll have to investigate another time.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm gonna stay real close to Lester now.
Yeah, you see Lester kind of like crinkling his nose at the smell, and he like eventually, no longer able to kind of stand it. He pulls like some like he cuts like a little bit of cloth off of like the bottom of his pants and essentially stuffs them in his nose, just like try and get rid of the smell as much as he can. Yeah, so it's pretty putrid though. It smells pretty terrible.
Yeah, if I have like any kind of scarf or whatever, I don't even know what you'd call that. Probably not a scarf, but
Bandana.
Yeah. Pull it up around myself.
Yeah, it would help a little bit, but not as good as like stuffing your nose or anything.
Yeah, there's no way to escape it, obviously, but
yeah, it's the Providence scarf.
You all shut your pie hole.
So you guys are you guys heading down to the quarry then?
Yeah, we're going in.
Okay. So you move down past walls of stone that rise up on either side of you. Still, the ground kind of like you're dipping down into it as you walk down this stone hill, kind of winding through the quarry. You see side passages kind of going off the different parts. But you're heading towards the dueling arena, the platform in the center of the quarry itself. As you walk, the smell becomes thicker, almost as if you're walking through a fog of this. It smells absolutely horrible. I'm gonna need con saves from everybody. Advantage if you covered your nose.
Ha! Who's laughing at my scarf now? Damn it. 12.
I got a 13 on my con save.
18.
Okay, cool. Well, 13 and 12 ain't gonna cut it. The smell that's just like invading your nostrils now. Lester got like a 17 too, so he did well. It's just invading you. Like you just feel like you're drowning in this smell. And your eyes start to become a little bit fuzzy. Your head a little bit dizzy. The negative effect of failing this con save is going to be your first attack. Your very next attack is going to be done at disadvantage.
All right.
So you continue on, tears streaming down your face. Smell just painful in your nostrils. And until you eventually see the dueling platform, this large square block of stone. And standing on top of it, you see two people.
Hiram will pull at Lester to get him down off the horse and to leave the horse behind, kind of ducking behind the rocks to try and get closer to the platform.
Okay, go ahead and make me stealth checks.
Yeah, seems like a good choice. 5.
25?
19.
Did you get a 5, Connor? Is that what I heard?
5.
Okay. How do you totally botch this stealth check? What do you do that totally lets them know you're here?
Mr. Sheriff, sir, this putrid smell is getting quite on my nerves.
Wesley, shut up!
You have to go much longer?
The two people like turn and look at you. You can't see their faces. You can't see what they look like. They're far enough away. But they would kind of like start and they turn and start running towards the wall of the quarry, scrambling up the seating that would be used for duels towards the lip of the quarry.
I guess we give chase. What do we do here?
Oh yeah, we do. Fleet of footwork coming on. Yeah, I'll run after them for sure.
Yeah, okay. You guys start running. Who takes the lead then?
I'm pretty quick.
You're using that fleet footwork, aren't you?
Yeah, seems like a good time to do it.
And Wes will use his football body to check the other one.
As you run towards them, Chris, Hiram, go ahead and roll me perception as these two just dash off past you.
Okay. It's 23.
You see something huge move among the stones along the quarry wall. A big creature, hulking in size, somewhere between the size of a huge just mountain grizzly and the lithe sleekness of like a cougar. This huge creature moving along the wall. And you see it like the smell intensifies, this terrible odor intensifies. And this creature looking down into the quarry, shadowed in the recesses of one of the walls, turns, and you see this large bushy tail raise up into the air. And you remember that what this creature is called now. You remember what it could do. In the legends, the name of this creature is called Anuye. It's a massive skunk bear, basically, that spray is acid. And it is going to spray you two as you sprint forward. Go ahead and give me dex saves.
Yay.
What'd you get?
Wait, I have an advantage because of fleet footwork. Confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a 2. And that's still not good, but in total 12.
That's
I'm
not
gonna make up for the blunder I made earlier with a 22.
Okay, so you're going to get out of the way, Wesley, but you are not going to, Lance. You're going to take the full brunt of this poison spray.
Oh, boy.
And Wesley, you're going to take half damage.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Lance, you're going to take 8 points. And Wesley, you're going to take 4. As this spray of acid just coats the arena floor of the dueling arena and hits you to just painful on your skin. You see the flesh essentially just rotting and burning away as you take this necrotic damage.
Do we see the beast from which this expulsion came?
Yeah, now as this it hits you from the side, you're barely able to get out of the way. You'd see this creature. The moonlight shifts over the top of it, and you see this huge, massive, essentially skunk bear, kind of like perching on the edge of the cliff. And it'll scuttle down the wall and run towards you. After one of the fleeing people starts shouting out in tribal, almost giving commands, it sounds like. So go ahead and roll initiative.
I got a 6. I'm high and low today.
So since it's before the initiative, and I am not surprised, I get to make a single weapon attack. Thanks to
Go
Twist
ahead.
Draw. I'm going to go for the guy who seems to be possibly speaking some commands.
Okay.
That's 19 to hit.
Definitely hits.
And that is 11 points of damage. Oh, wait. I got to add one more die. And then... because it did not do this right. $14 points of damage plus 2 sneak attack. Another 10 points of sneak attack. So 24 in total.
Oh, okay. You would see him stumble, clutching at his shoulder where you hit him, almost falling to the ground, but his companion kind of like picks him up and helps him keep going. Anything else?
Nope. And then my initiative.
Okay, so first off, we're going to have with a 21, Hiram, followed by uh, 17, Lance, 14, followed by 6, Wesley. All right, here we go. Hiram, it is your turn to act.
Okay. I'm just trying to read one of my abilities here. Okay. So what I would like to do is for my on the count of 3, which is one of my duelist abilities, I'm going to bump Lester up 3 parts into the initiative.
Mm.
So he should be, if I'm counting right after fleeing figures.
Yep.
Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3. No, right before fleeing figures. Even better. And then I will take another shot at the talker.
Hey, go ahead.
That's a 17 to hit.
That is going to hit also.
Okay. That's 15 points of damage.
Okay.
And I gave away my position last time, so no sneak. And then I will move between the rocks and use my bonus action as a hide. So let me give you a stealth here too.
Okay.
That's an 11, so I don't think I'm hiding too well.
Yeah, I think you're just the smell and the pain in your shoulder from your ripped stitches, and then your shots, like so much going on at once. You're having a hard time just like calibrating yourself, I feel like. Okay, yeah, you hit him in the back again. He stumbles and collapses. One of the figures is running ways down. Okay, Lester is next. You'd see Lester as you take this shot and then like kind of like fail at hiding. You'd look back at him, like encouraging him, like, "Come on, move, go!" And his eyes are just like wide. You see his hand like white knuckle gripping his pistol. He is just like frozen. So I'm gonna have him roll a wisdom save to try and break free of this fear. Wow, that's pretty good, Lester. That's a 16. So he's going to like what do you do? What do you say to him, Hiram, that bumps him out of the stupor?
I think what ends up happening is Hiram takes the second shot, looks back, sees Lester kind of like white knuckling the gun, and he says kind of the same thing that Lester remembers from one of the early lessons. Loosen your fucking grip, kid. You're never going to hit anything like that. And then he suddenly snaps, and it's like automatic mode. He pulls the gun and begins his progression through the twist draw.
Yeah, so he kind of like he pulls the gun, he draws it from the side, rotating, pulling back. He's gonna take a shot at the Anuye. Oh my goodness, that's really good. 17 on the die. It's a 21 to hit. He's gonna hit the Anuye with his medium revolver. Dealing, holy cow, 13 points of damage to it. A bullet just ripping into the side of this thing. You see a small spray of blood, and Lester, his eyes are just wide, like he hit it. I hit it, and he just like looks at you, but then he sees that like you're still focused. This fight isn't over, and he like puts his hand back on his gun, regrips it, and pulls the hammer back and respins the chamber, getting the next shot ready for the next turn. And he's gonna duck behind some like stones to try and like get some cover. Okay, the fleeing figures. The one kind of turns back He tries to pick up the one that's dropped, and you see him carry him a couple paces up like one more ledge, set him down, and just kind of shake his head, turn to the wall and run, and just like you're still. Who's still watching the figures? You were shooting at them, so I'm assuming you are, Hiram.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a feat of just amazing athletic skill, he jumps, scrambles, takes 2 steps up the wall, and grabs the next ledge, pulling himself up, almost throwing himself over the ledge. He gets a little bit of air as he comes up over the edge. Just inhuman strength, which he does to the next wall and the next wall too. So he's almost out of the quarry now, and he ducks behind some stones as he's running. Okay, Lance.
All right. So as I get sprayed with this acid from the Anuya, kind of tumble down momentarily, kicking me out of my full tilt sprint. I pick myself back up, wincing in pain, and yell out to Hiram or anyone, "Where'd they go?" And if no one answers in the heat of battle, I will see my foe before me. This giant ass skunk bear. And I guess can you describe the area we're in? There's like a center stage for dueling.
Yeah. So like imagine like kind of like a sloped pit where it's different layers coming up the side like a quarry. Like you could walk along each layer and mine on those sides, but each one is about like 15, maybe 10, 15 feet high, each tier. And they like go up like steps almost, but just like huge steps until you reach the top, which is about like 6 or 7 tiers up. At the very bottom, kind of in the very bottom of this pit, almost this circular pit, is the kind of like a square. Have you seen Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah,
Like the original one?
of course.
Like, you know, where they fight on like that tournament? Like
Yeah.
it looks like that square platform, stone platform in the center.
Gotcha.
And there's like a little like a foreman's hut kind of on the outside of the ring.
All right. And the Anuya is looking at who?
You two standing in the center of the ring.
All right. Over here, you big son of a bitch, and try to like motion at it. And then ideally what I'd like to do is go run up to one of those like cliff steps and just make an acrobatics check and try to draw it towards me. But obviously, hopefully it can't jump that high.
So just to make it clear, it's already like 2 tiers up.
Oh.
So it's not on the ground with you. It was already up a tier or 2.
Oh, holy shit, my bad. All right then. Bucket. Shooting them.
Okay, go ahead.
Kapow. Probably a miss with a whopping 12.
12 misses, yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember my abilities because I can use a reaction to make an attack. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, never mind. Let's combat instincts. All right, so yeah, I fire and miss one of my precious 6 shots.
Yeah, you see it like kind of shuffle out of the way. Your shot barely missing. Oh, your first shot's a disadvantage too because of your smell thing, anyways. So see if you nat 1.
Bet you I miss even more. Nope, exact same roll.
Okay. The smell, kind of as you raise your gun, it's like when you've been out in the sun too long, and you're kind of you just like get all woozy like from standing up too quick. It's like that. Like you swing your gun to the side and then you're just like, oh, and like your shot just goes wide.
All right. Then I will at least use the buttload of movement I have for 10 minutes to try to pick an advantageous position where this thing isn't going to acid spray or jump down on top of me and maul me.
Yeah, you could run to the opposite side of the of this raised platform and just duck down behind it, kind of like half lying down.
Yeah, give me some of that half cover if I can, for sure.
Yeah, so you can duck down behind that. So the Anuye, on its turn, it is going to use an ability. I'm going to need everybody to make me a con save.
Come on.
14 con.
Lester's initiative goes back to normal after this round.
Okay.
20.
So we got 14, 20, 19, and then Lester got like a 12. Okay, so Lester and Wesley, you're for your entire next until the end of the New Year's next turn, all of your attacks made against it are at disadvantage. As this odor just intensifies, it's almost like the area is filled with like a pepper spray, like a fog almost, that just kind of like makes it like hard to like keep your eyes open to even like focus on this creature. As it does this, it's going to lumber down into the arena and tear across the stage towards Wesley, the lone figure standing there, and attack him twice.
Bring it.
It gets a 19 and a 15.
Both hit.
I'll use
Okay.
my reaction to combat instinct that 15.
Okay,
And
how much
I
does that
will
lower it by?
use-
It
Sorry, go
lowers.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Lowers it by 4.
Okay.
And
And
I
then-
will use
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
a reaction to impose disadvantage on the Nuya's attack.
Oh,
of
the second
19.
attack?
Yeah, the
Okay,
19.
cool.
That's my know your enemy ability.
A 15 hits you, right, Wes?
Everything higher than a 13 hits me.
Yeah, okay. So we got a 15 on the second roll then. Okay, so it's gonna hit still. But what do you do to distract it?
Hiram is like hucking rocks like in the general direction. Like they're not even coming close to this thing. It's
Okay.
just a distraction, really.
Okay. So it is going to do to you, Wesley, 8 points of damage as these hulking claws just basically tear you from shoulder to waist, ripping a large chunk out of your duster and just like flaying your chest open, basically. You see that his claws are curved and kind of like serrated almost a little bit on the very end to grab and tear. And that'll be the Anuye's turn. Okay, Wesley, your go.
It's right there, and Wesley looks down to see that his black metal gun is already in his hands. He did not draw it, but there it is, nonetheless. And I guess point blank into the flesh. Actually, it's only one shot. Never mind. You said I have disadvantage on this one, right? Just
Yeah,
from the stink?
disadvantage. Mhm.
Yeah. Come on, big money. Well, the disadvantage got rid of a critical hit. So it's only a 25 to hit.
That doesn't hit. No, that hits. Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to action surge after this. So first shot's 11 damage. And then
Okay.
does the disadvantage go for the second attack?
Yeah, it's all attacks on your turn.
Cool. Awesome. And that is, that's going to be a 13 to hit.
13 misses.
Okay, cool. Blam, blam. That's the total of, 11.
Yeah, you're surprised by how fast this thing moves once the second shot comes towards it. Because it's like there and then it's not.
Oh, and this this creature will need to make a Constitution saving throw,
Okay.
as the bullet that embeds it into its flesh begins to crackle with reddish black, weird energy as the gun itself lights up.
Okay, so got a 15.
Okay,
Does that pass?
yeah, it passes.
Okay.
But it takes 5 points of necrotic damage from this strange bullet.
Ouch. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you see the, I almost imagine that the bullet embeds in the skin. You see this crackling energy kind of spreading out from it. The creature like lets loose this like a scream somewhere between a roar of a bear and just like the angry growl of like a cougar or something. Just this scream erupts from its lips and it kind of like starts moving around you like it's stalking prey, kind of hunched downwards and slinking. That was Wesley's turn. Anything else?
I'm just gonna kind of like stand my ground, and kind of holler, "Mr. Sheriff, sir, it's right here." Kind of just, I don't know, in the chaos, just like helping guide my companions to what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Hiram, your turn.
Yeah. Hiram kind of watches as the second figure kind of disappears over the lip of the quarry and just kind of like curses to himself as he wheels the gun around. to go after the Inuye. That's going to be a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. That's 8 points of piercing damage, and that is silver.
Silver doesn't do any bonus to these creatures.
All right,
They're
good
just
to know.
beasts. So 8 points. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, your bullet rips into the side of this thing. It kind of grunts in pain. You see that it's bleeding from multiple wounds now, multiple bullets. And its eyes would find you kind of standing among the rocks just off the quarry. And it assesses you for a second before looking back to its closest enemy, Wesley.
Yeah, I'm going to save my cunning action.
Okay. All right. Lester. Oh, no, wait. Lester goes back down. So now it's the fleeing figure disappears over the edge. Death save. He's still alive. Lance.
All right. So as I look back up from the momentary explosions of the guns going off, illuminating the area, I see this huge creature towering over Wesley as he shouts out, even though he's just been raked across it very badly, still just trying to help out. And I see myself basically hiding behind cover and just, shit, what am I thinking right now? Pick myself up, and I have a shotgun on me, so I'm going to pull that out instead if I can.
Yeah, that's fine.
And just say, hey, I said over here, and start walking towards it. And can I just basically... Are shotguns still disadvantage point blank?
No, that's one of the few guns that actually don't have disadvantage at close range.
All right, right behind it, right into its stupid skunky tail. And
Hey.
that is definitely going to be a hit for, or less. Yeah, it's definitely over 20 for 8 damage.
Okay.
And then I will use apparently my last bardic inspiration. I have some checked off, so I'm just going to assume that's valid to say, Wes, you got to get out of there. This thing's going to tear you up.
What does that give benefit wise? Oh, you're just passing on bardic inspiration?
Yeah, bardic inspiration.
What die
okay.
size are you? D6, right?
I think it's still a D6 at level 3.
Yeah.
It should be.
Do you have any, like, what can you add it to besides the regular stuff?
Ability checks, attacks. I think it's just literally...
Just regular, okay.
Yeah,
I know that some bards get like a new use for their inspiration. I didn't know what yours was.
I don't know if I have it yet.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So you pass on that inspiration. The Inuye. So how close did you get, Lance?
I got like right. I'm doing everything in my power to make it come after me. So like right up against it and just put the shotgun against its back and shoot.
Okay. So let me roll for recharge. On recharges. Okay, it's gonna step around Wesley, and both of you need to make me a dex save.
$18.
This is where Wes's luck runs out. He got a 4.
Okay,
Tough.
So Wesley, you're gonna take 12 points, and you're gonna take half of that, so 6, Lance.
All right.
And additionally, I'm going to need everybody to make that con save again.
22.
14.
Okay. 21. Oh, and then Lester loses. Okay. So everybody, your attacks are going to be at disadvantage. Well, anyone who got less than a 15, target number 15 for his DCs. So disadvantage. So Lester and Wesley at disadvantage. And that'll be the Inuye's turn. It's going to impose itself. It's going to put itself behind, between you, Hiram. Well, no, it's going to put Wesley between you and it, Hiram, giving it a little bit of cover.
Okay.
So let me see. That's going to be it for it. That'll be Lester's turn. Lester's going to stand, make it take a disadvantage, and miss. He kind of you see his hands are shaking now again, as he basically throws up on the ground. Just this smell just overwhelming him. Wesley, your turn.
I've been like mauled and digested from the outside. And I've been being yelled at, get out of there. And I can't see an opening where to leave this thing's grasp. Like it's just bearing down upon me. And I just close my eyes, just flinching as yet again I crack the bullet from this black smoke gun. Just hoping that it'll make it stop moving. Ooh. That's a 20 to hit. Not natural.
Is that a disadvantage?
Oh, no, you're right. Okay. It'd be an 18 then.
18 hits, yeah. Go ahead.
That will be 9 points of piercing damage and another Constitution saving throw.
Okay, that time I got a 13.
It's still good enough.
It still passes.
So just 6 more points of necrotic damage.
Yeah, another bullet embeds in the skin. These kind of crackling lines spreading across its body. It's kind of grunting and screaming in pain now. Okay, Hiram. Or do you have a bonus action you want to do, Wesley?
I do actually, as I'm going to use my second wind as I'm just like looking around me, getting a breather, just like bracing for impact from this next terrible things below. That's it.
Okay. All right, Hiram.
All right. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to have to move so that I can get a clear shot. Hiram comes out of the outcropping, and he starts to kind of circle around the quarry stage, a stage that he's pretty familiar with. He knows exactly the spot he needs to kind of gain clearance to get around this shot. The question is he able to make it in one movement?
So you want to make it all the way around the stage? Is that what you're saying?
Basically just enough to where I can clear Wesley from my shot, because right now the bear has shown human-like intelligence and put Wesley in the way of my shot.
Yeah, so if you moved your full movement, you could like move to the side and line it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Hiram takes like a beeline straight over to where he kind of figures he should be clear. He comes to like a skid, and as he's sliding, the dust kicking up, he pulls his gun again for another shot. That is a 15.
15 will barely hit, yes.
All right, cool. That's 11 points.
Okay. Again, another spray of blood, another scream of pain from the skunk bear, basically.
And I will take my cunning action to hide this time.
Okay,
it's gonna be
perfect.
16 on stealth.
Okay. Yeah. So the creature screams out in pain. The figures are out of the order. Lance, your turn, real quickly.
All right. Smoke still kind of billowing out from the first shotgun shot. I will pump it again and then shoot into the creature, still trying to pull its attention the best I can. How many shots does a shotgun have before it needs to be reloaded?
Depends on what kind of shotgun you're using. Is it just a normal shotgun?
I have it written down as just shotgun in mine.
If it's just a normal shotgun, I believe it has 4 shots.
4 shots? Sounds good to me.
I'm pretty sure it has 4 shots before it needs to reload.
All right. I unfortunately rolled a 12.
Okay, that misses. It definitely misses.
Right.
Just your aim goes wide as it with a thumping swing, it hits the ground, making the floor shake, and your shot just goes up.
All right. I will tell Wes that reading through my character sheet, I have realized that my bardic inspiration, you can choose to roll the dice and lower the target's AC by half, or you can choose to give yourself advantage a number of times to half of the roll that you do. And that's called I Know Their Secrets.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, because he's from the basically the Monster Hunter College. Okay, the Anuye. The Anuye is going to make 2 attacks. Let's see if it recharges. It's not. Okay, it's gonna make 2 attacks. First one's gonna be at Wesley. I want to see if it. Oh, that's a nat 20. So first attack's a nat 20. Pretty good rolls on the dice too. So
Is it just ignoring me?
Essentially, it's focused on Wesley right now because he's the one that's closest to it. The first hit is 22 points of damage, but is going to use an ability from the crit table. The attack just rips across your. It gives you a glancing blow across your head. Kind of blood dripping down across your eyes, ripping up a little bit of your scalp, just tearing at your head. Until you get this taken care of, until you get it healed. Well, actually, no, you just have disadvantage on attacks and perception checks until for the next 2 rounds. Perception and attacks have disadvantage. And that'll remove oh wait, no, it's just for until the end of the next turn, so that it removes 5 points. You take 17 points of damage and disadvantage on perception and attacks until the end of its next turn. Okay?
Thank goodness disadvantage does not stack.
Yeah, so that did 17 points to you. Does that drop you?
17?
Yeah.
Right on the nose.
Oh, so that drops you actually.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so it just it spins you around with the force of this hit. You just spin and it just topple. And then it turns to Lance and is going to lunge towards you, trying to bite you. That'll be a 19 to hit.
So, the first attack it makes against me. Wait, is this an evil spirit or monster?
I guess a monster, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes its first attack each round on me at disadvantage.
Okay, so that's a little bit lower. That's a 16 then. The hit?
Pretty sure that still hits. AC, yeah, it definitely does.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to do to try and stop that, or does that just instinct it?
Let's see if I have any points left. I actually do have 1 point left. I'll combat instinct it and make it miss.
Okay, cool. So it misses.
And can I flavor that?
Sure, go ahead.
So this is my supernatural ward, and basically, as the monster turns on me, I start to feel a searing pain in my arm, and I look down and I see that the tattoos that have appeared on me since a couple of days ago now seem to almost be burning into my skin. And as I look at it, I see that it's actually now a scripture of writing. And although I'm not taking the time to read it, I'm basically beginning to understand what this Anuya is. And then I instinctually know that it's a very aggressive creature, and I know how it's going to attack me. And I roll out of the way, looking at my arm again, and then the tattoo now that I see, it was just basically looked like weird kind of black scribblings on my arm, now makes sense to me.
Yeah, and the Anuya lets like a roar of anger as you dodge it, essentially, and it is going to turn to face you. That'll be it for it. Lester. He'll make his attack at disadvantage because it's a spell. He's gonna miss. He's just vomiting on the ground, just throwing up just from the smell, just over and over and over again, just dry heaving at this point. Wesley, death save.
Failure.
Oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, you. What are you seeing in the as you approach death?
I think that because I'm at exactly 0 hit points, I think that Wes is still somewhat conscious, but it's the pain of this terrible head wound that he has. Like he's conscious, but he's dizzy. He's seeing like fractured images. The blood is kind of filling his vision, but he just smells the putrid acid stink of this giant skunk beast. And he's trying to scream out for help, but the blood is filling the back of his throat. Nothing more than just gurgled cries. And he still feels the coolness of the gun in his hands, but it is no longer cool as it glows red hot burning his skin, but he cannot let go.
Yeah, and as you're just kind of gurgling, kind of like your vision dimming, kind of the pain just ebbing and flowing through you. All around you, you see shadowy figures starting to appear that are staring down at you, looking into your eyes, looking at you. And one of them kind of kneels down next to you and gets close enough that you can see his face, and it's your father. And he's looking at you with these sad eyes. And that's where we're going to change to Hiram.
Okay. So, yep, I'm going to give away my hiding spot and shoot. That is a 23 to hit.
Hits for sure.
It's 14 points of regular damage and 6 points of sneak attack.
20 points total. Yeah, you see it stagger. It's still standing, but like you've taken out one of its legs effectively. It's like dragging it behind it now.
Okay. I'm not going to hide. I'm going to keep my cunning action around.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. It's like keeps glancing back at you, trying to keep an eye on you and Lance standing on either side of it. Lance, your turn.
All right, so I've taken 2 shots with the shotgun right now, so I got 2 bullets left in it. Going for another one as I pull the trigger. I just apparently am not going to roll good tonight. 14.
Which barely misses.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. Bardic Inspiration done. All my techniques done. So yeah, I just curse and yell out for Hiram to give me a hand.
Okay, it's going to leap on you, biting and snarling.
All right. So
I'm
according to
gonna
this
use my
thing,
reaction to impose disadvantage.
it already has disadvantage.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. I'll save that.
Okay, so first attack. Oh my gosh, you're so lucky it has disadvantage. It got a nat 20 and a 19.
Ugh,
So it's going to hit. It's going to hit, but it didn't get a nat 20, though. The supernatural word's coming in clutch right now.
And it also says, Ty, that when they do hit me, they lose damage equal to my int, which is just -1 right now.
Okay. So lucky, TPK, exactly. So instead of taking 9 points, then you're going to take 8.
Oh, I just feel so lucky right now.
As its claws just rip through your gut, you see that your clothing is just flayed and torn open now. This acid that is sprayed on you is dripping from your clothing, searing the ground, searing your flesh. It's going to take its second attack on you. Disadvantage from Hiram?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a 17 and an 18, 10 and 11, so +7.
Yeah, that's gonna make it happen.
Its teeth are going to clamp down on your side as it leans in. Oh man, that's low damage though. And that lowers the damage of every attack, right? Not just the first one.
Any attacks? Yep, that's what it says.
Okay, cool. So it's going to lower 6 by 1, so 5 points instead of 6 points.
Ironic you say that, as I yell out to Hiram, "Get the kid out of here!" And that's exactly the amount of points I need to go unconscious. Also,
A 5. You need 5 to drop.
yeah.
Okay. So we've got Lance down and Wesley down. The Anuye is bleeding heavily. It lets loose a roar of triumph and then turns on you, Hiram. Lester, not under the effects of the nasty smell anymore, gets to make an attack like normal. And he's going to hit with a 17. So he hits it for 9 points. A bullet ripping into this thing's shoulder. It screams and staggers a bit as it's moving towards you. It's still barely up, though. That means it is Wesley's turn. Death save.
That's another failure.
Oh, your father is leaning down over you. He puts a hand on the side of your face. You see that he's crying slightly. He looks down at the gun, and he's actually able to pick it up and hold it in his hand. Looking down at you, looking down at the gun, and just shaking his head with sadness. Hey, Hiram, top of the order, dude. It's do or die now.
Yep. This is gonna be fun. Hiram will draw his Bowie knife for his offhand at the start of this turn.
Okay.
And yeah, pistol shot.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a 16 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, that is 17 points of damage.
Whew. Okay, it's barely standing still. You see that it's now like it's walking towards you, but it's like shambling. Like it's just like a bear in its death throes, just like still trying to get to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try the route of hiding as my bonus
Okay.
action.
Okay,
Hiram
you're gonna
is
duck and
jumping
hide.
behind rocks now, hoping for the best.
Okay, go ahead and give me your hide then.
All right, my stealth came out to 19.
That's pretty good. Okay, yeah, you hide, you duck behind some cover, getting out of the way. Lance, death save.
All right. Success.
Okay. The Anuye looks around. It doesn't see you. It doesn't know where you hid, but it looks at Lester. And it recharges its spray. He's going to have to make a dex save. Which he nat 20s. Okay. So he's going to... Well, he dodges all the damage. I'm just going to say he dodges all the damage because he nat 20 the dex save. The spray's coming right at him. What move did you teach him to dodge an enemy's bullet, basically, or to give you a chance to, Hiram?
I don't think we got to that lesson. I mean, he's done mostly target practice. I think what ends up saving him here is he hasn't moved from the big ass rock that he hit at the beginning of this fight. The rock is just getting destroyed by this acid poison spray, and he just kind of like stumbles back far enough to where the spray doesn't catch him too.
Yeah, you hear him just like breathing heavily, just like screaming, like, oh, oh, like he can't believe like what's happening. Like he sees these two down on the platform. He almost got soaked in acid. He's just like screaming. You hear him start to blubber, and like a tear like starts to go down his face. But he like, wipes it away and rotates the cylinder on his gun, just knowing it's like do or die basically right now. Okay.
I would like to bump Lester up an initiative. Oh wait, no, never mind. It's Lester's turn.
Yeah, it's Lester's turn now.
I wanted to be all dramatic and give him a chance to shoot, and then I was like, oh yeah, he goes after the Anuye. Never mind.
Yeah, so he's going to try and make his attack. This thing is actually like on the verge of death, so if he hits, he'll probably kill it. 9 plus 5, 14, he misses. So his shot, like he's just trembling. He leans around, and I feel like he's like using the gun to steady himself, but he burns himself on the rock that's now covered in this acid. He kind of screams, jerks his pistol, and it shoots way over the thing's head. And he ducks back behind this rock, just like yelling in fear. Okay, Wesley.
Here we go.
Do you have inspiration?
Can you use inspiration on death saves?
Yeah, you can.
I was going to say
inspiration because I got a 4. So even if I get if I add a D6 to that.
But you don't have normal inspiration?
Nope. I used it up last time.
I'll spend one of mine to give you an advantage for sure.
Don't die, Wes. Don't die.
Don't die on me, kid.
I was going to say, if we could do that, I have points to give as well.
Just funnel them all into the dying man. Okay. That's a success.
Okay, you survive another round. Hiram, top of the order to you.
Okay. I am going to use one of my points of inspiration because I really want this thing dead.
Okay.
Not going to end well if we don't kill it. That is a 16.
That hits.
That is...
You have to do 5 points of damage.
Yeah, that's 16 plus 3, 19, plus my stick attack for another 8. It gets like looming right above Lester, about to like fall on him. Lester's like holding the gun, squeezing real hard, and like he pulls the trigger one more time, and the shot goes off. Lester's eyes are closed, but the bear skunk thing's head explodes towards Lester. He's covered in gore. Lester's not entirely sure if he took the shot or someone else did or what the hell happened.
It's like in Jurassic Park where it's like looming over the edge of the Jeep, basically. Yeah, so just boom! The Anuye stands there, frozen, a monolithic, just this huge monster giant, and then just topples to the side of the boom, kicking up dust and blood leaking from its now shattered skull. Combat's now over, and that is where we're going to take a break. Okay, go ahead and go to the bathroom, get a drink, be back here in, let's say, 5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7 minutes. Exactly.
Cutting it close there, Wes.
Yeah, if it weren't for that point of inspiration given to me by another player, Wes would have been sharing a fate with his father.
Mm-hmm. I guess technically you still need to be stabilized, but minor details.
Minor details.
They've got time still to get to you, though. So. Congrats on getting your book up, by the way, from Kryfoth.
Yeah. This thing right here. Shameless plug.
Very awesome. I like it. Hold it up completely to the camera.
Yeah. Just showing off that booktastic bookishness of it.
The Ravaged Wastelands of Kryfoth.
Yeah.
Looks very nice. I like the layout, too.
It's 100 and something pages of gloriousness.
Did you get Brandish to do it for you, the art?
The art, yeah.
Awesome, dude. He does a good job.
Yeah. He helped pull the... just look at this stuff.
It's so beautiful. He's doing a lot of the art for Iskloff, too.
A little bit of it, I think.
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
Not
He's
too
got
much
like
of
3 or 4 different artists.
Yeah. Yeah, we just stuck to the one artist.
Just Brandish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everybody look at that. Go check it out. Drive Through RPG. Kryfoth, that's Crifoth.
If you want to buy soft cover, you can get soft cover. If you want just PDF, you can get just PDF.
So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Really pretty.
And this thing is a beauty to have in physical copy of. I was like, whatever, cool PDF. And then it came in the mail, or proof of it. I'm like, ooh. This turned out better than I thought it would.
Yeah, there's something about having a physical copy of anything.
Yeah.
It's
also way easier to like flip through stuff. Like, oh man, I can just get to the page.
Oh, I hate PDFs because they just take forever to load and stuff too. Yeah.
I feel you.
So what I'm trying to say is, get your physical copies right now.
Like right this second.
Yeah.
You still got 1 minute and 43 seconds before the 5 to 7 minutes are over.
That's about a minute that you can do to type in Drive Through RPG into the Google search bar.
Exactly.
Go to the hottest small press category and look at that little list and click on it right there.
Or type it into the search bar.
Or that, but I mean, we are on the main screen, the home screen of Drive Through RPG. So
There you go.
Nice.
yeah, losing our position with the passing weeks, but that's a story for a different day.
Gotta make sure there's no chips in my beard. I just did some dirty things to a bag of chips on break.
I'm doing some dirty things to a bowl of salsa right now. So
Hey.
You guys are ridiculous.
So
Man, it sucks that Alex couldn't be here again.
yeah, Matoska.
Especially because he's got a lot of clues and information for you guys that you need.
Classic move there. Get all the plot to revolve around you, and then peel out for a couple sections.
Classic strat.
Yeah, I like it. That way we can level up. We're grinding right now.
Grinding levels. Nice shot, Hiram. Way to save the little boy's life.
My hero.
Had to decide if it was worth the gamble. I was like, Lester's either going to die or I'm going to be a hero. One of the two. Unfortunately, I needed him to stay as bait because that's why I didn't tell him to run.
So then it would go for him. How many of them still do you have?
I was gonna say, Hiram. Remember, Hiram's not really a hero.
Oh yeah.
Use the kid as bait. That's a good plan for Hiram.
That is a good plan for Hiram.
We learned a lot.
Hey, it worked. You used the kid as bait, and you got the kill. So now you are a hero.
Yep.
You see poor Lester next turn though. If you miss that shot, just getting mauled by the freaking Anuye.
Yep.
Not a pretty scene. All right, let's go ahead and do character and channel plugs. So we'll start with Chris Villanueva, and then with Chris Wilhelm.
What's up, guys? I am the RP Ginger, and I am playing Lance O'Connor, the deputy peacekeeper here around Crow's Gulch. Should be good. I'll pass it on.
I'll go next then. I am Connor Davies. I'm playing Wesley Burke, the little rocks for brains farm boy who has a devil gun, and now is bleeding out through his face on the stone below in this quarry, being mauled by a giant death squirrel. Skunk, actually. Sorry, my bad. I have the channel called Dice on Ice. You can see it when I do this. You can check it out on YouTube. We recently published a book that you can get in both digital or physical copy. It's called The Ravaged Wasteland of Cryfoth. I've got it right here. It's a 5e campaign setting with some kind of new mechanics to make your world a little bit more, or your game's a bit more survival focused, a little more lethal. I'm glad that Tyler is not using those rules on us right now, because we would have been long dead by now. If you're interested in that, check it out on Drive Thru RPG. Other than that, I have nothing really to say. So we can pass it on to the other Chris.
All right, I'm Chris Wilhelm. I run the channel Drop Dice. Tonight I am playing Hiram 3 Lives Moody, who started as Hiram 2 Lives Moody on this adventure. As far as side projects, I run the channel Drop Dice, like I said, and I've got a campaign going there for Burning Wheel for anybody who's interested in that. It's a science fantasy game, so if you like mecha and knights, that's kind of the jam that's happening in that campaign. And I am actually working on releasing my own setting information stuff for Index Card RPG, actually. It's called Xiao Yun. And there's an interest post for the playtest up right now, an absolute tabletop if you want to join.
And always, if you're tuning into this game, it's on my channel On a Roll. It's ROLE, like role play. I am the DM. And I am happy to be back into this. We took a little hiatus due to scheduling conflict stuff. But we are back. And we're doing back-to-back sessions this week and next week. So if you're enjoying the game, keep watching. And this is taking place in Providence, my Wild West setting. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The Anuye, this massive creature, this monstrosity straight out of tribal legend, collapses over the rocks, slumping to the side and falling into the dust at Lester's feet. He looks down at the beast, at his quivering hands, the gun clutched tightly therein, and would look over to see the extended hand with the smoking end of the pistol of Hiram. And he would just basically collapse to the ground, just slumping to the floor, his legs turning into jelly, unable to move.
I'd like to make a heal check using my point of inspiration on Wes.
Okay, go ahead. Give me that medicine.
Yeah, Hiram runs over and takes the tattered bits of his what used to be nice dinner duster that's now completely ruined from his time with the boat and murder scenes, and making his own bandages. He just rips off another strip off the bottom and starts binding wounds as best he can on Wes. That comes out to a 21 since I have advantage, thank goodness, because a 7 would not have been helpful.
That's good, yeah. That would stabilize him for sure. Wesley, in your mind's eye, another figure just comes running in out of the side. Your father's like looking down at you, that sad frown on his face as he's holding the gun up, still clutching your fist. The weirdest thing, Hiram, as you run over, his hand would be extended with the gun, like kind of turned sideways, like he's holding onto it. And he would be holding his gun.
Hiram thinks much of it. He just thinks like he's going into hysterics because he's lost so much blood. Like Hiram pushes the gun down. He's like, "It's okay," and starts like bandaging him.
Yeah, and your father just kind of like slaps you on the side of the cheek, gives you like a sad smile, and just shakes his head and mouths the words, "Not yet," and slowly stands to his feet, looking down at the gun, looking down at you. The other figures slowly coming into focus, other men and women. All of them with the same sad frowns, which slowly disappear as your wounds are bandaged.
I got this cloth that's being wrapped tightly around my head, probably obscuring my vision, maybe over one eye or something. I'm like, Pa? Pa, where'd you go? No, come back, Pa!
No, Wes, I'm not your dad. You're okay. You're fine now.
And he like reaches to your face, grasping it. I don't feel so good, Hiram.
Yeah, losing a lot of blood does that to you. Just lay down, Wes. I gotta go check on the deputy.
Deputy, give me that death save.
Deputy's bleeding out with 1 success, 1 failure now.
Okay, go ahead and go over and stabilize him now. Or attempt to.
I gotta eventually take the medicine skill.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one to have.
All right, that ended up pretty good. That's a 20.
A 20.
Yep.
Okay, well that would stabilize him.
That was not a bad use of inspiration. I had a 2 on the die, a 19, and then an 18. So, good day.
Yeah, as you come back to consciousness, Lance, you feel that fiery pain on your arm still. You see that to your eyes, this tattoo, this script is changing and shifting, slowly becoming back to what you remember it being, just that normal, uninterpreted thing, the thing you can't understand. You don't see it moving at all, Hiram. It doesn't look like anything to you. In fact, you don't even see anything on his arm.
Just kind of like staring at it momentarily. I imagine like I actually reach up and kind of grab on to Hiram if he offers to help me. And then I see it staring at it. Then look at Hiram, who's probably maybe staring back at me in confusion. And just, thanks, Hiram. You got that thing? It's dead.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't think it would be here that quickly. I figured we had bigger things to worry about at the moment, but yeah, it's taken care of.
I'm worried.
We got one of them.
Worried to think about facing off on bigger things, but take your word for it. That's a good thing that this thing came now.
I guess I got one of the two that was fleeing. He's up at the top of the quarry. We can get him here in a second.
All right. Maybe it's that Mr. Ruri.
I shouldn't be rolling on the lingering injury table.
Oh, sorry, not Hiram. I meant Wesley.
Oh, I already did. I got a horrible scar.
Okay, what about you, Wesley?
So I've got not only the giant brain gash, but I rolled a natural 1. I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's bad.
Lose an eye, baby.
That makes
Nice.
perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. I can be good old Wes One Eye.
You have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight and on ranged attack rolls.
Makes sense.
Ooh, that's tough, baby. Okay. All right, yeah. Your eye, one of your eyes is just jellied, basically, from this claw scraping across your face. What does your horrible scar look like, Lance?
Did you say where he raked across me, or was it just across my?
It was a bite, actually. He bit you on the side, like he turned his head, just bit into your side.
Maybe just like a really nasty neck scar, and part of my ear is gnawed off.
Yeah, that's great for sure. Yeah, I guess you got to get a cavalry sword, exactly. Yeah. So your ear is just like mulched, basically. This big scar on the side of your head where the acid's almost melted it into the side of your head too. So it's just like this nasty, ugly, puckered scar. Lester, you can hear Lester still dry heaving. The adrenaline catching up to him, and the smell of the dead beast as it basically, now that it's dead, defecates everywhere. Just disgusting sewer smell over there. He's just like retching.
He'll get past it eventually. We got other things to worry about at the moment.
Great. We'll go check that body. You good to walk, Wes?
I still got my feet.
Try not to make eye contact with him because that's real nasty.
I imagine you got like a two-face thing going on right now, just like half of your face just nasty and puckered and bloody, and the other half just looks normal.
Sorry I didn't have your back there a little more.
That beast was mighty terrible. I'm surprised it went down if it did.
Hiram's a good shot.
Thought it was the end of me for sure. Reminded me of the old dog down the road. This one a bit bigger than that old dog and smelling a little nastier too.
Well, I hope we never come across a dog that smells worse than that.
Oh,
We can agree on that.
you don't ever smell my Aunt Bertha either. Then
So who's going over to the body then? The one that got left behind.
Sure.
I'll be going that direction.
Yep.
Okay. As you guys kind of climb up the tiers to the third tier where the body lays, you get further and further away from the smell, which is kind of like lingering in the bottom of this basin, basically. And you finally get like a whiff of fresh air as you reach the third tier. And the body that's lying there in the dust. Oh, let me hear roll some death saves. As you approach, you see there's a pool of blood beneath him, and he's not moving. And at first you're like, "Oh man, he's dead! Like we killed him." But then you see his chest heave as he forces a wet breath out. But he's still unconscious on the ground, barely alive.
Hiram, can you stable that man? Don't want him bleeding out on us.
Hiram kind of looks at him, and he's still got his Bowie knife out. I don't think so. He's been shot 3 times. I think it's going to take more than just some bandages. We can put him out of his misery. And Hiram just kind of like rolls the knife in his hand. But I think that's about all we'll be able to do by the time Doc gets out here. Well, I should say by the time we clean up that mess and then Doc gets out here, he'll be dead anyways.
He's face down. Yeah. Flip him over. You see anything odd about him or discerning? You're muted.
So as you turn him over, as you reach down to grab him, you see that he's wearing like normal clothing, like a duster, like a long coat, like buckskins, like he's wearing like frontiersman clothing. But as you turn him over, you see that he is definitely tribal. He's from the Sioux. You see that charcoal paint all across his face, and like the trophies that they take kind of around his neck and hanging from his ears. He's lying there breathing wet gurgles, kind of like red blood dripping down the side of his mouth.
Now there was individuals that dressed up differently than the so in Crow's Gulch. I'm forgetting their names, but it's not him, is it?
What do you mean?
I'm trying to
He's
look at
talking about Bolton's guards.
Yeah, Bolton's guards for sure.
Oh no, it's not Mr. Blood. It's not any of Bolton's guards. No.
All right. He's unconscious, or is he kind of on consciousness now on the brink of death?
He is like unconscious on the brink of death. Like
Okay.
you might be able to like wake him up if you were to cause a little bit more pain. Like basically torture him to get him to like speak, essentially, like to wake him up with like pain, or you could just put him out of his misery.
All right. Hiram, you mind handling me that knife? You look like you would enjoy this too much.
Yeah, Hiram will hand you the knife.
And I would just do it quick and tidy. Or probably not tidy, but you know what I mean. Wouldn't make him suffer any more than he had to.
Yeah, as you kind of like lean in, you would hear him whisper. Wait, do you speak tribal?
Probably not. Just double checking. Not that I can see.
Hey, you would hear these words then. Maklau kor kadot. Like he kind of just like whispers them.
I don't understand. What are you saying?
He would just whisper those words again. His breathing is becoming more shallow.
I'd pull out the totem. Does that do anything if I like put it in his hand? You muted again.
Oh, his eyes are closed. He doesn't see anything. If you put it in his hand, he wouldn't really react to it. It would just sit limply in his hand.
All right. Were you gonna say something, Hiram?
Just try to remember what he said.
Yeah, I'll make a mental note.
I mean, I don't speak the tongue either, but I'm sure we know someone who does.
Think of one individual at least. And then yeah, just pulling knife right to the wherever makes sense.
Yeah, you could just dig it in and slip it across his throat, ending his life in seconds, just like that. It's like snuffing out like a torch. His breathing stops and he grows cold.
And I'm assuming he doesn't have green eyes, seem left-handed, or any shiny metallic tattoos.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right. I wonder what the hell this was about.
Do you search him?
Yeah, let's do that. Investigation.
Okay. Investigation, yeah.
Or Hiram, you want to take it? I don't know who's better at this. I'm pretty good at it.
Either way.
All right. Maybe you should do it. I rolled a 13.
A 13? Okay. With a 13, as you're kind of digging through his belongings, like what he has on his person, basically, you'd come away with a totem, like the one you're already carrying. And this one, so the one that you found in the stable had 3 animals, a buffalo, a horse, and a wolf. The wolf was at the very top. And on this person, it goes, let's say, a raven, a bear, and then an owl. And so you find that on him and you pull it away. You realize that it's star steel also, just shining brilliantly in this moonlight. So you'd find that. You'd find like a little bit of money on him. You'd find a medium revolver and some bullets, like 15 bullets for a medium revolver. You'd find. Let me see what else. He's got a Bowie knife strapped to his leg. And he would have around his neck, kind of as you pull it up, it's on like a buckskin cord. There's like it's like that star symbol that you've seen, but instead it's etched into a star steel like circle, like a medallion. And at the very center is like you see there's blood smeared on the center of it.
Make anything of this, Hiram? Anything makes sense why these cell would be commanding whatever the fuck that thing was?
No clue, but at least that's what I thought I saw.
Either of you guys, since you have Monster Hunter training specifically, can make a roll. Use either religion, history, or nature at advantage.
Yeah, mine says I roll. Yeah, it says I roll at advantage anyways. I just read that.
I got nature with a 16.
I got. What was the other ones? Nature or what? Sorry.
Religion, nature, or history.
All right. Not really any particular good at that, but a 18.
On what? You just choose one.
History, sure, since he did nature.
Okay, so nature. I'm going to do the nature one first, then I'll do what you know from history. So the nature one, you know that Anuye are not. They are solitary creatures. And just the way this one was acting so feral, you know that it was being controlled by something much more powerful that just subdued with medallion. You would recognize the medallion too. It's a binding rune. Essentially, it's used to control different creatures, but they could only be created by essentially like tribal witches, like a shaman that's gone evil. And that's how Anuye are called too. Only by a shaman who's basically gone evil. So for history, what were you history checking? You were doing the medallion, the Anuye, or like this person?
Let's do the person.
You know that there's been a lot of conflict with the So. There was a lot more conflict when the town was first founded, actually. But the famous First Boughton made a deal with them essentially to keep the peace. So you think it's a little strange that the So have been doing this, basically attacking the settlers without any, apparently to you, provocation. You would know that the So live in the north, generally kind of up among the mountains. They've kind of made that into their home, and have kept it themselves for the most part. There haven't really been many raids. You would also know that this person, this man, and this totem, the fact that he has a totem is important. It means that he was important enough to be trusted, essentially, by the tribe and by the chief.
Does Star Steel have any properties to it aside from being expensive and rare?
It never rusts. It is effective against basically all kinds of monsters. It is like the cure-all to monsters.
Okay.
Like extra effective against them, I should say. It is like worshipped religiously by the So they hold it in very high esteem, considering it's sacred as it comes from the sky. What else? It's believed that instead of getting more brittle with time, Star Steel becomes stronger. So after being forged in like very intense flame, it just gets stronger with each passing year after being forged. So
okay. Yeah, Hiram's gonna start collecting up the Star Steel.
okay. So you take the totem from this dude, and then the other
Everything
one that you found inside of the. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sure.
I'm hoping to eventually have enough to cobble together a new Bowie knife.
Yeah. So you basically got like two totems, which are like little tiny, like bullet-sized pieces of Star Steel. And then, like, have you found any other? I don't think so yet.
His pendant, the 2 sets of totems, the one we found at the horse lodge, and the one he's got on him. I think that's everything.
Yeah. Okay. So because the medallion too. So you take the pendant also. Okay. Okay. Cool.
And then I'm gonna split up bullets if you want. If not, I'll just be taking bullets because I'm running pretty low.
He just had regular bullets.
Medium revolver.
Yeah, they're all yours.
But I can't use those, can I? I have a heavy revolver. Never mind.
Well, you can take his gun. He's got a medium revolver.
Yeah, that's true. I'll do that just in case I need something extra or need something after this runs out.
Can you dual wield in this game, or do you need like certain stuff to?
You can dual wield with the dual wielding feat without any like problems. But if you dual wield without the feat, basically you make the offhand attack with a second weapon, but you don't get any modifiers to it or bonuses.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And you can't dual wield heavy weapons, which heavy revolvers are. So you can only be able to dual wield medium or small.
Which eventually Hiram's going to get to the point where he's dual wielding. It's just at lower levels. It's until you get the feat, it's not really worth doing single weapons.
Yeah, for sure.
How many shots did you take with your heavy revolver rounds for Lance?
Lance is rocking a medium, and he took 1 silver shot, and then the rest were with shotguns.
Okay. So in the future, all of my rounds are for heavy, so we may want to make that clear.
Yeah, my bad.
That's let's see, 3, 4 missing from the silver. Okay.
Okay, so you guys gather up his stuff, splitting it amongst yourselves. And he's a young, so too, like maybe like early 20s. Like definitely not very old.
Guess on my end of this, I should probably bring him in to the sheriff and have this handled appropriately. Although I don't know how we're going to explain that fucking thing. Point down to the New Year.
Fire will fix that.
And the smell.
Haven't we had enough fire in the past few days?
Well, I have a feeling that since it kind of smells like a dead horse, it'll probably burn about as well as one, so fire will fix it. Besides, we're in the quarry. It's not like the fire's really going to go anywhere. It'll burn itself out.
Let's get to it. Am I at like 1 HP right now?
Yeah.
I am, aren't I? Yeah. Okay.
I got like 1 HP.
Cool. That seems good. All right. We would, I imagine, start doing what we could to burn the horrible carcass of this thing.
Okay. Yeah, you could gather some like put some gunpowder on it or something and light its fur up. Basically, it wouldn't be that hard.
Interesting.
It burns pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah. All right.
Let's head back before anything else happens. Because I don't know about you, but I'm about spent.
Oh yeah, I'm doing great.
A little piece of me is missing, but otherwise I'm in tip-top shape, is what Wes would say as he clutches the flesh wound of his face. I can't feel my eye no more.
Lester, ride with Wes. Make sure he stays straight on the path.
You don't see Lester, by the way.
Oh boy.
Lester?
guess our night's not over. Begin searching the quarry for Lester tracks.
You would find tracks heading up out of the quarry.
God damn it. All right. See if you can round up anybody. I'll go
Yeah,
after
the monster
Lester.
was Lester all along. The tracks aren't hard to follow. It's obvious that he isn't trying to hide or anything or like get away. But as you follow them up out of the quarry, Hiram, I'm guessing your past perception is pretty decent, right?
14.
Yeah, you would just hear sobs coming from basically somewhere towards the top of the quarry.
Just keep trucking along. Go towards them.
Yeah, and you'd find Lester sitting with his back against the wall, kind of like hiding among some stones. Like he wants to look strong. You've seen this before. You've seen grown men cry after a gunfight. Just the stress, just breaking and fraying their nerves. But he's got his head clutched in his hands. The gun is sitting on the ground next to him, and he's just like crying.
All right, Lester. It's we gotta head back. The boys can't wait any longer. We gotta find Doc.
He'd kind of look up with a start, seeing you standing over him, and he'd quickly like wipe his face and just like nod and pick up the gun and shakily get to his feet and like follow you. He wouldn't say a word, wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, and I don't think Hiram would either. It's one of those things that like we're not gonna talk about it.
Yeah, you guys all saddle up and start heading back to town. You might search a little bit to try and find this person's tracks who climbed up out of the quarry, but you would find like a shallow area where there's like obviously there's a second horse there that he left behind, and another horse is missing. So they obviously put their horses up along the top of the quarry. So if it's go ahead.
Take that horse too, I guess. Little gift for Garrett.
Grab its reins, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
so
need
you
to
guys.
waste it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What?
I said no need to waste it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you guys can make it back to town pretty easily. No issues. You can take the horses back up to Garrett's stable and lodge them there. You would see that a light would still be on at the sheriff's office. Other than that, pretty much everybody else is like asleep. Even the local like bars are like closed down too. You see the moon is like pretty much all the way down. You reckon it's probably like 3 or 4 in the morning.
I say that we go ahead and call it a rest at this point. It's just we're no good to anybody running around like this.
Yeah, Lance seems to be kind of like rubbing the scar that he has and looking past you. And almost like he's not really not that he's ignoring you, but he's just distracted. He's just yeah, you're right. Meet up in the morning.
And Wes is just like barely clinging to consciousness as he's dizzy and woozy and kind of tipping this way and that. Hard to sit straight with when you got such a bad concussion / gaping head wound.
Yeah, seeing that, I kind of snap out of him and just like, come on, Wes, we'll get you. We'll wake up the Doc.
Yeah, Mr. Sheriff, Deputy, sir.
I'd go over to you and even though I'm not in much better shape, I'd like basically support you and walk you over to wherever the doctors would be. Knock on the door, wake him up at this ungodly hour. apologize, but he'd understand by looking at Wes. Something needs to be done.
Yeah, he would usher you guys in. Kind of just like looking at the two of you, like he'd ask like he wouldn't ask very many questions, but he would ask like the question you know he's gonna ask, like what happened, like just
Hunting
trying
accident.
to figure out like
Hunting accident.
and he would kind of just frown, like, but he knows better not to ask. He'd take you guys in, stitch you up as best he can, doing basically what he can with my goodness, stitches, putting them in, sealing up the wound, wrapping it in gauze, disinfecting it, like doing whatever he needs to. So he would help you guys in, take care of you, and then he'd actually, I think, request that you. Well, actually, how close where do you live all the way on the farm? So he'd request that you stay, Wesley, because he doesn't trust you to ride that far. But where do you live, Lance? Where does your character live?
Doesn't matter. I'd stay at the hospital or the doctor's with Wes through the night.
Okay, so you two would stay there. So we'll go ahead and do what Hiram does then with Lester.
Taking Lester home.
Okay, yeah, you guys are walking up the road to the manor. You'd feel his eyes on you constantly, by the way. Like whenever you're not looking, he's basically looking at you.
Yeah, it's a quiet ride until pretty much just outside of the boat in the state, and he stops just kind of shy, far enough to where like the gate guards can see him, but they can't like hear their conversation. Well, Lester, I think that's all we're going to be able to do tonight. I don't think our search is over, but we'll have to get to the bottom of what that so said when he was dying. We've got a friend, Matoska. Hopefully he'll understand the words.
For the first time since the fight, Lester would look up at you. And you see something that I think you would hope not to see in a kid his age. Kind of that loss of innocence. Like having understood what it means to kill now or be killed, having felt the fear of death, the literal stink of it, breathing down his throat, essentially, having been sprayed in it and covered in it. He doesn't have any fantasies about it anymore. Like he understands what it means to die. And he would kind of like look at you, and he'd look you in the eyes. You see that like there's a hardness there now. How do you keep doing it, Hiram? I know what my dad and my brother, the people they have you deal with, I know what that means. But how do you do it? How do you deal with it? I mean, whatever that thing was, that thing that we killed tonight, it was just a creature, it was a monster, and I still feel this way. It's not even a person. And he's like, his voice is getting a little bit higher, almost like borderline hysteria as he's talking.
Listen, that thing, and this is what you're going to tell anybody who asks, was a bear.
He starts to protest. He's like, but that wasn't a...
I know it wasn't. It's for your own good, Lester. You don't want to be involved in what I am. You asked why I do what I do. I don't much have a choice anymore. I work for your family because, unfortunately, I have to live two lives. The life I want, where I can drink and gamble and have fun, work for your family, and the work where I hunt bears. I don't want you involved in the hunting of bears. Do you understand what I'm saying, boy?
he'd kind of frown for a second and look up at you. Are there more things like that out there?
Yeah, there are.
His eyes would widen at this confirmation. But all the stories that Nan told me about
There's
about
probably
the,
some truth to it, in all honesty. Frankly, I'm surprised half the time. Your your name was probably the biggest asset I had in my first couple years. Those stories have some truth to them usually. And I don't want you to go chasing after those stories, but if you ever find yourself in a situation, remember what she taught you. As crazy as it might sound, throwing beans at a zombie might be the only way out.
he would kind of just slowly nod. I don't know about beans, but silver bullets seem to work. But yeah, and he struggles with this. Because as much as you hate it, Hiram, he wants to be like you.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you hate it, like he looks up to you more than anyone, even his brothers. And he would look at you and he would say, I'll try not to get involved in this. I have a feeling, though, that, I mean, eventually I've got to take care of the city too, right? Did Dad know? Did Marcellus?
No, I don't think they knew anything about it. Usually the people that do get involved in it kind of get wrapped up together. We all kind of know each other. And look, as far as protecting the city, if I'm here, you don't need to worry about that. The Bolton family has been changed pretty drastically tonight. Overall. Don't let this be another change that your family has to endure. Just go back to that house. If anybody asks, ran into a skunk on the road, shot a bear, and we're pretty sure we apprehended at least one of the killers. But we're still looking.
He would nod. And he looks like he's about to ask you another question and then thinks better of it. But you see like a light kind of go off behind his eyes. And he'd look at you and he'd nod. And before you can say anything else, he'd turn and he'd run back towards the house to the gate.
And Hiram just kind of watches him get to the gate and sees Samuel, the gate guard, open up the doors for him. Once Lester's passed, he waves to Samuel and turns the horse back around to go back to the room that he's renting at the bar and beds down for the night.
And what do Hiram's dreams look like?
Hiram can't quite put his finger on it. Why the name Rui is sticking with him. Excuse me. Keeps having that memory of the shootout, but he can't connect the two. Subconsciously, he's probably aware that Rui's one of those two people, but he can't quite remember who's who. He remembers another name. He kind of thinks to himself and shakes his head, trying to think of exactly who. And When he wakes up in the morning, all he can remember is the names Rui and Archie. But making sense of the two isn't really there.
So we're gonna shift back down to the infirmary, basically, to the hospital, where the doctor is just barely finished patching up Wesley and giving him a very heavy dose of something to help the pain go away and help him sleep. Probably like a really strong whiskey or something. And as you basically pass out, falling asleep, instead of like sleeping, you feel like almost astrally project yourself. You're essentially standing in this room, fully aware that you are unaware of what is happening. You're essentially just standing there. You can see your own body lying there. You see how bad the wound is. You have both of your eyes back while you're in this form, and you see surrounding your body, standing all around you, staring at the gun that's tucked into your belt, are these shadowy figures. All of them staring at the gun and then looking up and staring at you as you appear. You see your father among them. Their eyes are fixated on you and you feel cold. What do you do?
Pa, that's you. What's going on, Pa?
Wes. I can't answer your questions, Wes. I'm not allowed to. But that thing that you're carrying, it isn't a gift, son. It's a horrible, horrible burden. It's a contract you can't understand. Listen. If you can, you need to take a picture of yourself, son. Take a picture of yourself, an item of importance, and a bit of your own blood, and you bury it at a crossroad, okay?
Why?
You bury it at a crossroad. You ask for Mephisto. Mephisto's short. Mephistopheles. Okay? You bury that box.
Mephisto.
You ask for Mephistopheles.
Mephisto.
And you tell him you want to end the contract. Do you understand?
And he just sheeply nods.
If he doesn't show, if Mephistopheles doesn't show, you don't make any deals. Not with anyone else who shows up. Only Mephisto. But if he doesn't show, talk to Randall Boughton and tell him you want to end a contract and to put you in contact with Mephistopheles.
Pa.
This will ruin your life, Wes.
Where did you go?
I didn't mean to go. I promise. It was never... I got caught up in it all, the power. The gun. I tried to bury it, run away from it. But that wasn't part of the deal. Listen, just do as you're told, Wes.
And Wes is like visibly crying. I mean, whatever he can cry in a spirit astral form.
Yeah. Your mother doesn't need to lose another person she cares about, okay?
She misses you. We all do.
I know. But I can't even move on until the contract ends. And he
Who
looks
are
at
all
the other
those folks?
previous bearers of the weapon, of the gun. Pact makers is what we're called. Break the pact, Wes. End it. And he would step forward. And as he starts to give you a hug, to try and comfort you in some way that he can, the moment his hands touch you, you slip back into your body and you're unconscious again. Lance, what are you doing?
So imagine after he's brought Wes to get looked after. He's brought the body of the So to the doctors, which I imagine has a morgue, to get the sheriff to look at it in the morning. But as long as the day as it's been, Lance doesn't feel tired. So we see him quietly creaking open the door where Wes is asleep on the table, and he kind of creeps into the room and looks at the poor kid. And to Lance, he is just a poor kid, got mixed up in something that he shouldn't have. Lance blames himself. What the hell was he doing bringing a farm boy around on this kind of stuff? Got his eye messed up really bad, and he's studying it. Disgusts him to look at the scar, but he does it anyways. And then after a few moments of going by, the guilt seeping in, he goes and tries to look at his own wound in a mirror or some kind of reflection, and is studying it and rubs it. And as he does, he sees the tattoos on his arm, and he studies them again. And as you said, the scripture no longer makes any sense. And he's looking at it, and even like the knowledge that he learned in the fight seems to be washing away like a dream. Like you vaguely remember something incredibly important, but it's just like the more you think about it, the more it goes away. So Lance reaches into his duster, and he pulls out a black leather book. He thinks about a man that he met in the alleyway, Blackburn. Said that he should take some time to look at this book when he got a chance. Lance isn't feeling particularly tired on this night, so he'll find a nice chair in Wesley's room, and he'll begin to flip through it.
You'd see that bits and pieces of words and sentences are starting to form and make sense to you. And one of the sections, as you turn, it actually is completely understood. It makes complete sense. It says the Anuye, and it breaks it down completely. Everything you've learned about it. Now all the text and all the writing is decipherable. You can understand it now. You turn a little bit further, you'd find the Skutagamuk. And you'd find a bit of information on it, but not completely filled out like before. You'd hear a voice over your shoulder. Right, confusing, isn't it, friend? The book fills itself in as you start to understand.
Kind of like I've been caught doing something. Look to see where the voice is coming from.
Leaning on the wall right next to you, kind of looking over your shoulder, is Blackburn.
How'd you get in?
I don't believe that's quite the right question. Maybe you should ask something a little bit more important. And he'd kind of walk around you and sit down in the chair next to you.
Who are you?
I've already told you my name, Blackburn.
What is this book?
Oh, what do you think the book is?
Some kind of journal.
Well, you wouldn't be wrong, but it's more than that. It's a journal. It's an almanac, dictionary, whatever you need it to be. It's a lifeline.
Whatever I need it to be.
Well, it'll fill itself in and reveal itself to you the more you involve yourself in this world.
You gave this book to me?
The book chose you. I didn't give it to you.
And why did it choose me? I know nothing.
I think that's why it chose you.
And what am I supposed to do with this now? I can barely keep the people around me alive. They're all dying up the more I know about it. Am I even really doing any good here? Or am I just making matters worse?
Well, you do with the book what you want to do with the book. You can become a valiant, I believe they call them Reaper. Hunt down the monsters that would topple your world. Or, if you choose a different route, become a monster yourself. There's all sorts of knowledge in this book. Depends on the wielder.
How do I learn more?
You hunt.
Kind of nod.
Shame that boy got involved, though. He'd look over at Wesley, and then he'd slowly turn and look at you. Would you like the power to prevent something like that from happening again?
Yeah, it would.
And he'd kind of snap a finger, and in his hand would be an old photo of you. And he'd kind of twitch it, twist it between his fingers like a coin, like rolling it between his knuckles, until he extended it towards you. Take this. And he'd reach up and pull the deputy star off your chest and put it in your hand with the picture. That. And then he'd reach out, grab your hand, and sink his thumb into your center of your palm, drawing blood. And some of this, put it in a box, bury it at a crossroad, and ask for what you'd like. Power, money, fame, fortune, strength, guidance, answers, whatever it is. And he'd lean forward until his face is right up next to yours. And you can smell the strangest smell of burning wood, of smoke, drifting from his mouth like a perfume. And you make a deal.
And if I were to do this, would someone like you show up, Mr. Blackburn?
No, nothing like me. I'm a middleman. I help people find what they're looking for. No. One of my superiors will contact you if you were to do this.
Well, I'm not looking to be annoyed right now, so maybe you should find yourself in the middle of someone else.
I could, but you're so fascinating, Lance O'Connor. All of this bravado, declarations of strength and protection, your skewed opinion of the law. And he leaned forward. Law is a human concept, my friend. People need rules and guidelines, something to hold on to. It's not as important as you believe it to be. In fact, I believe that people are happier when they make their own laws, when morality is a personal thing. But, alas, you can hide behind your laws and your bravado. And he leaned forward and looked you in the eye, Lance. But I know behind that facade, you're just as scared, just as hurt, just as misguided as everyone else. Think about what I've told you. You could have whatever you wanted. The strength you needed, the answers you wanted, whatever it may be. Ask for Mephistopheles. And then he's gone. Disappeared. And you find yourself staring at empty space. Like that.
Flustered by that, kind of begin to pace again. Like an itching, just something uncomfortable. But then after a while, the hours begin to tick by and the sun begins to come up, and you see like the last kind of, as the sun is creaking up over to the window, shining onto Wes, you see Lance sitting down in the chair, and he's just combing over the book over and over again, staring at each word intently and trying to make just one more word make sense.
And as you're turning this book, these pages, you would see something that it didn't matter to you as much in the moment. But now as you're turning the book, you'd see that your hand actually has a groove in it from a fingernail being pressed into your palm. And there is dried, cracked blood all across your palm. And to your horror, it seems that this person, Blackburn, actually managed to somehow affect you physically. And that picture is still in your hand, in your palm. Your star grasped in your fist. The book still as unreadable as ever. And that is where we'll end the session. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do outros. We'll start with Hiram. My name is Lance.
I'm Chris. I was playing Hiram. If you guys want to know more, check back to that break that we took in the middle, and I talked about the channel and stuff like that. That's pretty much all I got for tonight.
I'm Connor. I played Wesley. Check out Dice on Ace YouTube channel for things and stuff. I had a lot of fun tonight being clobbered over the head by a giant stinky mammal. Thanks for playing. Thanks for watching. And thanks for being awesome.
All right, what's up, guys? I also have things and stuff on my channel, the RP Ginger. So if you check out everybody else's things and stuff and you have nothing left to check out, come on over and see what I got going on. But other than that, again, nothing else to really say. Thanks, Ty. This session was a lot of fun. I felt really good, and I am eager to go back to back. See you all next week.
All right, awesome. Again, guys, thanks for playing. I had a lot of fun running this session. I'm excited to be back into Providence. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for playing. If you like the game, feel free to like and subscribe. There are plenty of other Providence games on my channel, and I am just excited to do a back-to-back with this. So, again, thanks for tuning in. And as always, I hope you find yourselves new games on a roll.